Okay.
So when it comes to pitching and offering, I fucked this up when I tried to go about it the first couple of times. So my advice is, like you're saying, like messaging people who follow you. It feels like cold calling. And what you're doing is basically walking up to someone and saying, hey, I have something to sell to you. Do you want it? And they're probably going to be like, ugh, nah, fuck this. But if you DM 10 people or however many people you want to DM and said, hey, I see that you follow me. I was just wondering, and give options as opposed to like open-ended questions or like super simple, quick things to just draw them in first. So it may be something like, thanks so much for following me. I'm trying to put out more relevant content. Do you prefer videos or photos? Or do you prefer educational content or funny memes? Or I don't know. And just something where like, and you can do polls on this on your story as well, but to engage with someone one-on-one in a way like that. Or just even something as, I mean, you probably want to ask them a question that gives them a little response first and then it increases, right? So it's like you give someone something for free, then you ask them to pay you $1, then you ask them to pay $10, and then they'll pay $100. At the moment, you've just gone, pay me $100. And they're like, I don't know, it's a bit. And the likelihood of them saying yes to like, hey, buy this thing from me is the likelihood that you're going to purchase something from the Harvey Norman ad in the letterbox that you get.
Yeah.
Or the salesperson who knocks on your door. Yeah. That's what it feels like. You're just opening the door to someone being like, who the fuck is this? No, thank you. And maybe they do follow you, maybe they do know, but even if I was to, let's say, have reached out to you for this business mentorship, having never spoken to you in my life, and I said, hey, do you want to join my business mentorship? Like, you're an ex-biz, yeah, you do business. You'd probably be like, what? Like, because I didn't know you. And if you've already started to engage and create that relationship and that warmth, that's when I have reached out to people, and it's not this, hey, here's my link, sign up immediately. Which I have done in the past and realized doesn't fucking work. It's, hey, like, I know we've been chatting on Instagram a little bit. I'd love to hear how you're going in business. I have some things that some content and stuff that I'm considering putting out. I'd just love to hear like how you're going with things or something like that just builds that warmth to you as opposed to cold calling people with this. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah. So just build warmth and use it as a slow burn, because and you probably want to start with a poll, and then everyone who responds to your poll, DM those people because they just showed interest, right? So you're getting the people who are very interested. Just because someone follows you, because it could be someone's, like it could be your uncle's like friend at work. I don't know, and they're like, I just followed you because Larry said you were cool. Like they may have no use for it. Or if you're looking for online, like maybe they already have an online coach. These things you need to sort of like pre-qualify first. So maybe you just say, hey, I'd love to do like a little poll in the first, you do like 3 questions or something. And it's like, have you ever considered online training or online rehab? Are you interested to know what that looks like? And then you just have like a couple questions that sort of leads them down the garden path, and then they can put their email at the bottom if they want. But if they answer any of those questions, you can then, it's almost like permission to ask more and say, hey, on the poll I put up, I noticed that you answered that you were interested. Like, would you like to know more about X or Y? I think that will get you a better response than the cold call approach of like, hey, I have online training, want to buy it?
Yeah, makes sense.
But start to create relationships with these people, depending on who they are, like comment on their stuff. Like I used to like comment, I used to go on to, actually what I used to do on Instagram is I would I would follow other personal trainers or coaches or whatever, or potential clients, and I would see what they're doing, and I would like their comment, and I'd look at a few things, and then I would find a training video of theirs, and then I would find a technique correction. And what I would do is I would not put that publicly in the comments being like, hey, why don't you just actually rotate your feet a little bit more because you're buckling in and it looks shit. I would DM them and I'd say, and I would voice message because it's so much more personal. And I'd be like, hey, Laura, I know you don't know me. I've been following you for a little while. I was just looking at your deadlift video the other day and you look strong as fuck. But I was just wondering why you do this with your toes facing completely forwards, because I noticed your knees buckle in, and I was just wondering if there's a reason for that. And you just leave it open-ended. You don't automatically call them out. You just say, I just noticed this, and they'll say, oh, I've been trying to work on this, and you know, like my glutes are really underactive, or I've got knee pain, or 101 reasons. But you open up the conversation, and then you can start to engage. You can say, oh, okay, like I've noticed with people that I've worked with that doing this actually really helps with people in similar situations to you. You know, like if you try it, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And then you start to build relationships with these people online, to be able to then talk to them in a way that you would just walk up to a buddy. So it's probably a little bit more of a lengthy process, but you will build better relationships by creating relationships instead of putting up an ad or a post or a DM and being like, hey, I've got this thing to sell you. It's like, what are the pain points of the people? Firstly, who is your ideal client? You need to know that. Secondly, what are their pain points? What do they need from you? What are they not getting? Why are they coming to see you? Think of your ideal client. Who are they? Why did they come? What was their original issue? Why did they choose online training? Why did they choose in person? Whatever. And then from there, you can sort of build a story around them, and you can figure out their demographics, but you can also, more importantly, figure out what they're struggling with. And like we were talking about with Erin, you want to figure out all of those things in their life that is the reason that they don't exercise, or the reason they don't do their rehab. And maybe it's time poor as well, or maybe it's, you know, fearful of increasing pain or whatever. And you talk to those and you say, hey, I've got the solution. I've done this before. This isn't my first time. And I understand that back pain can be incredibly debilitating. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. And I want you to be a success story, just like the other 135 clients that I've worked with in the past. So I think you probably need to take 3 steps back before you pitch to someone, figure out who you're pitching to, what their pain points are, talk to their pain points, build engagement, then you can start to talk to them about what you're offering.
Sounds good.
And the thing too is you can tell if it's disingenuous,
Yeah.
whatever the word is, but I'm not DMing those people on Instagram about their technique because I need them as a client or want them as a client. I genuinely look at it and I go, I think they could be doing this differently, or I think they could get a better result with this. And my intention is that that person gets a stronger deadlift or feels better or more confident or whatever it is. Whether I can help them with that or not, or I refer them on to someone, if your intention is not to make a sale, your intention is to help people genuinely without anything in return, you will get things in return. But if there is any glimmer of like, I'm doing this to try and sell to someone, people feel that.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so if you have the ability to give and to add value and whatever, and like to the point where like, I've made a lot of business networks and relationships through social media because I didn't want anything from them other than to have a chat about their post that I maybe didn't understand completely and would like to know more info about. And it's turned into relationships where I go out to coffee with these people and we shoot the shit about business, or, you know, like with someone like Dan Kirkbride, like we didn't know each other, found each other on Instagram. And then now to the point where like we've run seminars together and we do business brainstorming days and things like that. So I think keep your options open, make sure that your intention is to help, not to gain financially from it. And that will come.
Yeah, I've done the same where I've seen, like, say someone just walking their pram or whatever, said, and I said like, oh, I'll come with you one day if you want some company. And now they're like one of my long-term clients, like things like that. Yeah, so you just get talking and then eventually,
Yeah, and your intention when you said that was obviously not to get a client out
it
of
was
it.
more
It
to make a
was
friend
a
than
genuine, like, let's be friends or whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good friend now as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, not just
Yeah.
a client.
Yeah, beautiful. Right, hopefully that gives you guys some ideas as to how to really continue to build strong relationships so that we're in this for the long game, not just the quick buck.